So what's up, everybody? Today we're going to be going over a few different pairs of shoes that I've been skating over the last few months. Normally I usually skate Nike Dunks, but I decided to change it up and try out some DC LYNX and some Ipath Grasshoppers. I've gotten a lot of questions all about these shoes, ultimately asking which shoes are my favorite. And before I answer that question, let's talk a little bit about each shoe. So we're going to start with the Nike Dunk Pro Low. This is a low top Nike Dunk that I usually skate. There's a few reasons why I really like this shoe. One, it's a cup sole. I've been really enjoying a cup sole, especially as I've been getting older. I think just because it gives me a little bit more cushion than the Volk shoes used to. I used to really love skating Vans slip-ons, the Janowskis, all those really thin shoes. Found that the thinner cup sole is kind of my happy medium because it still gives me enough board feel, but at the same time, it gives me a little bit of protection. Another thing I do like about this shoe, sometimes they do offer lace protection, but the way the shoe's angled, I actually don't really rip my bottom laces. If anything, I'm usually ripping the laces up here, which is kind of annoying, but it's not terrible. I also really like how chunky the heel is right here. There's a lot of heel protection, and when I do heel flips, I kind of depend on that cushion on the side of the shoe. And speaking of cushion, I love Nike Dunks, how they have a big fat tongue. The SB tongue is probably the reason why I love this shoe and continue to skate this shoe. It serves a lot of protection. I'm always flipping my board, so my board will usually hit the top of my foot pretty often. So usually that's already like my big bonus right there. Two, I honestly just like the way it looks. Usually complemented with those elastics in there, so like you can just kind of leave the tongue out. You don't even have to really tie your shoes very tight. It just stays there nicely. So I think that's more of like a fashion look thing, but like, I don't know, that maybe because, you know, you look good, you feel good, you skate good, I don't know. And honestly, it's just a simple looking shoe. Like the silhouette is just super chill. It's super nice. People have been skating just Nike Dunks forever. I mean, I've been skating them for a long time as well. It's funny to look back at like even 2006 or something, I was skating them, and some of the high tops and low tops that I had, I wish I still had. I don't think they'd fit me anymore, but it'd be cool just to have them. Other thing we didn't really talk about in this shoe is, wow, there's so much fur on this shoe. But the only thing I really don't like about this shoe, honestly, is the grip. There's usually really not enough grip with this shoe, especially if your grip tape kind of gets old or if you're not riding really grippy grip. I can see how this grip is not the best. I just feel like the grip is pretty minimal in this shoe and it could be better. I think that's honestly why I started riding pepper grip. It's just because it's grippier and then it just kind of like doesn't slide around with this shoe as much. I guess pretty much that's the Nike Dunk Low. Next shoe I want to talk about is the Ipath Grasshopper. Shoes are finally hitting skate shops and other stores. I think even their website might work now too. I'll leave a link in the description so you guys can see like the kind of unboxing and story behind how I got these shoes. But for right now, we're just going to be talking about them. It is pretty crazy after all these years to be able to hold these in my hands again. These were definitely another pair of shoes I skated growing up. I never had this all black leather one. I had other suede kind of color combinations, but never this one. And this is the color like I always wanted. This is like the Kenny Reed, the Nate Jones colorway. Like this is the cool guy colorway. So it was really cool to actually get a pair of these. And I'm gonna be honest, they actually skated a lot better than I remember. We'll talk about the pros about this shoe that I really like. First of all, this leather is actually really durable. I was really impressed because online the leather did kind of look a little shiny and a little sketchy. But when I actually picked it up and felt it, like the tumbled leather on this shoe is really durable. Like there's still no major wear and tear at all on this shoe. Like it's actually doing really well. Also, this shoe is kind of funny. What I do like about it, but I don't like about it, but I kind of like about it, I don't know. It looks like a cup sole shoe, but it's actually pretty Volky. It's like a Volk tape, but they like stitched it up here to kind of make it look like a cup sole because this shoe has a lot of board feel. A lot of people were thinking this thing was really bulky and chunky, which it is, but it surprisingly has a lot of board feel. If I had to compare this shoe really to anything, it would be like a Vans half cab, but kind of like bulked up even more. Kind of even reminds me like a Nike Dunk Mid, you know, kind of that with a half cab, because this shoe is also really heavy. I kind of forgot how heavy this thing is. It really feels like a real boot when you're wearing it, but it's also not such a bad thing. My feet definitely feel very protected in it. The tongue is actually pretty smushy. It still has a nice little stash pocket if anyone's wondering. Like I said, the board lands on my foot a lot, so there is a nice tongue up here to give me protection. Also, when it comes to doing heel flip tricks, there's a lot of heel and ankle protection up here. I honestly normally ride dunk highs, and that's more of my favorite than the low tops. So that's another reason why I really like the Grasshoppers. Giving me that extra height makes me feel more comfortable. and I just know there's more protection. I personally haven't used the strap across there, but I assume when you use the strap, it's gonna give you a lot more ankle support. I just like how it looks kind of flared out, so I just leave it out. But the only thing about this shoe I did notice is I ripped my laces really quick. I mean, maybe some lace protection would be kind of chill on this shoe. Besides the laces, the shoe is definitely super durable. So if you're looking for something that is kind of big, bulky, durable, gives you a lot of board feel, this might be your shoe. So the last shoe we're going to talk about, and my most recent shoe, is the DC LYNX. Jameer Brown's Pro models from 2002. I will also leave the link in the description so you guys can see how I got these shoes as well. Since this colorway is discontinued, that doesn't mean these don't exist. These are the actual normal LYNX, like the OG LYNX. The other DC LYNX they have is the LYNX Zero, and that has a much slimmer sole. This is pretty much not the shoe I grew up with. I wanted to skate something that I actually grew up with. So this shoe was also pretty popular in the 2000s. And honestly, it surprised me how good this shoe still skates. So we'll definitely talk a little bit more about this shoe. There are a few kind of unique things about this shoe, and obviously it's a big poofy shoe. You would expect zero board feel, but you would be surprised. They do give you a little bit of board feel. Pretty much from like the ball of your foot and like your toes or whatever, all in this kind of like top area, you can definitely feel your board. It's not like you're not feeling anything. But if you're gonna be landing primo, jumping down anything, this heel will definitely protect you. Speaking of protection, I do love the huge tongue on this thing. It's actually bigger than the SB Dunk tongue, and it's obviously bigger than the Ipath. This thing is literally ginormous. It's literally like a pillow. So when it comes to slapping your board on your foot, you are so well protected in these shoes, it's great. So I understand now why all like the really good tech skaters skated these shoes. Makes sense. Also, let's talk about how durable this thing is. This triple stitch toe cap is amazing. I also forgot to mention the Ipath Grasshoppers. They also have a triple stitching, which is also pretty impressive and definitely why it holds up a little bit longer. The Dunks only have a double stitch, and you can tell that blows out pretty quick. The other unique thing about this shoe that I've really liked is the runner toe. Some people don't think it's the most pretty thing, but it does function really well. When it comes to flipping your board, this thing flicks. I don't know what it is between it's just sliding off the leather and then kind of gripping your toe bit right there. It just gives your board the ultimate flick. It's like a faster flick. Like a refound hack, I guess. Because I do remember doing a lot of kickflips in these shoes when I was younger. And I wasn't like that good, so I don't remember too much about them. But that was the one thing I do remember. So I'm just glad the toe cap has a purpose still. Another thing about this shoe I do like is the lace protection that it has right here. It does have the nice kind of looped lace protection. The only thing about this shoe that is kind of annoying, at the top lace, there is like a normal lace hole right there. So when you're doing a lot of ollies, it does rub up on that pretty good. These laces are those circle laces, so they're actually pretty durable laces, definitely more durable than the ones on the Ipath. So that's the only little area that you're gonna really worry about ripping your lace. Also for the grip on this shoe as well, was not the grippiest shoe I've ever skated. It kind of got better the more we started skating it, but as you can kind of see, it's pretty basic on the tread. There's really nothing too special about it. But you do kind of see there is a little bit of this arch right here, and I do feel this little arch does actually help you. When it comes to doing like heel flip tricks, varial heel flip, I mean really any heel flip trick, I've noticed my foot kind of bends a little bit easier there, and it kind of allows me to grip my board more when I flick. So long story short, if you're looking for a really good tech flicky shoe that you need some protection, this is definitely gonna be your shoe. Also, if you're gonna try to jump down some big stuff, you might like this as well. Definitely out of all the shoes here, this is definitely the most protective, bulkiest shoe you can get. So in that sense, I do love it. And so overall, I think these shoes are all great for different things. I guess it really depends on what you're skating, I guess what kind of style and steez you want. To be skating a certain terrain or doing types of tricks, I might pick one shoe over the other shoe. And it's kind of crazy because overall, if I'm gonna pick a shoe that I had to just kind of skate and go to, it might be the Dunk, honestly, just because it kind of gives me a little bit of both. I wouldn't say this is the best shoe because it could definitely be better. It could definitely have more stitching on the toe cap. It could have a little bit more grip on the bottom. There's a few things that could obviously be improved with this shoe, but for me, I think this would be my go-to. And honestly, secondly, I think I'd probably run the LYNX second. I don't know, there was something about this shoe that I was so surprised how well it skated. And so it's so big and chunky, but it's really not that heavy. Like the Grasshopper was a lot heavier of a shoe. It'd actually be funny if I were to actually weigh these and see, because I don't know, that feels heavy. I don't know, they feel both I don't know, they're both pretty heavy. No, because even when I was skating with this shoe, I did feel that my feet felt a little bit heavy. Not like super bad or anything, not like I couldn't get used to it, but that was the one thing that I did notice about this shoe, was the weight. So I hope that answered a few questions about these shoes. Comment and let me know what you guys would personally skate. And which shoes should I skate next? Like, should I try some SXLs? Should I try some Americas? Like, what are you guys skating? Let me know.